welcome to the Leominster Conservation Commission on June 14th, 2022. I'm Nick Kremp. I'm the brand new conservation agent for the city of Leominster. I'm very excited to start with you guys and do what I can. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right.
Welcome.
A little quick bio about myself. I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania originally. I was living in Pennsylvania until very recently. I moved up to Worcester to take a job with the USDA, working in their Asian longhorn beetle program, and worked that for about a year and found out about the position up here and started about 2 weeks ago. So it's been a wild and busy 2 weeks, but I'm adjusting and I'm loving it, every minute of it. So glad to be here.
All right.
And let's, we can start the meeting. We'll kick it off with a roll call, right?
Yep.
Chuck Raymond.
Here. Yeah, I'm the chair. Yep. Thank you.
Michael Seeke.
Here.
Richard Gullick.
Here.
And Liz Ritchie.
Here.
So we have a quorum of 4 with Amanda Lansing, Kenneth Ridlin, and Jeffrey Goyne absent. So with that, I'll hand it over to Chuck to commence.
Thank you, Nick. All right. Just one thing, I'd ask if you have your cell phones, please either turn them off or put them on mute, one of the two. All right, moving on. So under new hearings, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent regarding the Barrett Park Phase 2 improvements. Address 40 Barrett Park Drive, Leominster, Mass. Map and parcel 345-1A, DP file number.
That should be has not
been, so no number yet.
I know we've had it for a few weeks.
Oh, you have?
Okay.
That's my mistake.
And what is it for the record?
I'll just give this to you.
If you just read it off, it's for the record, the DP number.
Okay, it's DEP file number 199-1154.
Thank you. All right, and so I assume you're here to represent, and please introduce yourself.
Good evening, my name is Anthony Cleves. I'm with Haley Ward. Previously, Whitman and Bingham. You may have heard that we were bought out by Haley Ward, so we're kind of slowly transitioning to the Haley Ward name. And then for your reference, you'll see a lot of Whitman and Bingham plans in your files. So it's so we're on this plan, Whitman and Bingham, division of Haley Ward, but we're kind of now making the transition to just Haley Ward. So
It's always an awkward transition.
right, the rebranding, sure. So I'm here on behalf of the City of Leominster Parks and Recreation Department. Also here tonight is the Director of the Parks and Rec Department, Judy Sumner. So to give you some orientation, I don't know if you're familiar with the Barrett Park area at all, but this is on the GIS image. If you were to come into Barrett Park, into the parking lot, and then you'd see the Park and Rec's office, which is a white building, take an immediate left and head around the pond in that direction, you come to the existing playground, to the existing sand volleyball court area, and the existing pavilion. That's what I've kind of bubbled there on the GIS, and that's the area of the project. As mentioned, this is part of the Phase 2 improvements of Barrett Park. So about 3 or 4 years ago, Phase 1 included redoing all the paths around the pond, adding a pavilion down near the dam, and just making it more accessible for ADA requirements, just easier to get to for the public. So Phase 2 is focused on the existing playground area. And the colored 11x17 you have there is just a reduced copy of what we have on the board showing the proposed improvements. So really it's just redoing the existing area, not expanding the limits of what's there today, but it's going to be removing that existing playground and putting in a new playground, new structure, new wood chips, and some pads for when the kids slide down and hit that. Another kind of expansion of that would be like a boulder tree limb area for kids to jump on and play around in, also in wood chips. Redoing and reorienting the existing sand volleyball court, giving it some more, make it more defined and usable, and then also providing a gravel path for accessibility to the pavilion. Right now, there is no accessible path to that, so this provides, you know, that ADA access for anyone to get to that safely. Gonna be redoing some of the grading in this existing lawn area to kind of smooth it out, make it more of a consistent grade, again, for accessibility in there and usability of the space. And then it'll be restored back to lawn. For erosion control, we're proposing a silt fence line along the perimeter of the work area. The pond, for reference, is on this side here. You can kind of see it off in the distance here. Wetlands extend a decent distance away from the pond, surprisingly. They've actually grown from the last time we were here for phase one. They expanded a little bit. Here's your wetland edge down in here. And for reference, so you have Chestnut Street right off the edge of the plane here. These are homes that front on Chestnut Street. If you're really intimately familiar with the Barrett Park complex, there's an existing gravel drive that provides emergency access up to Chestnut Street in here too, existing. And then this path, so for orientation for the recreation office is just off over here, and the parking lot is here, so you'd come in and walk on the existing paths and then continue around the pond. So this is an existing path, just gotta, you know, fix it up a little bit. And that's pretty much a summary of the project, so hopefully straightforward. If you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. I just got a couple of fairly minor questions. So again, pretty much everything here is already existing. You're just making amendments to it or improvements.
Yeah, it's a redevelopment. Yeah, so get rid of the old stuff and put in new.
Okay. I didn't see. Are there any new plantings proposed?
Yes. So we have some new flowering trees going in there. I don't know if you were given any of the design plans, but
What flowering trees?
Yep.
Any idea what those might be?
yeah. So the last page of the set has the planting list.
Okay.
See if I can read it here.
Good luck.
So there are 3 sugar maples, 3 eastern redbud, 3 tulip trees, 2 pin oak, and then for shrubs, 5 summer sweet, and 3 rosemary rhododendron. Is what's proposed.
Okay.
And then there is a specific planting plan in the set. Sorry, I didn't bring copies.
The main reason I ask is while we often can't enforce it, we do appreciate it when non-invasive,
Absolutely.
non-foreign, non-invasive
Yeah.
plants are used. So
Yeah, that's what it's, these plans were done by A.T. Leonard and Associates. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're a landscape architect that's been working for the city for a long time. So very good with that type of stuff. So.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll pass it on. Any other questions on the commission?
No, very straightforward.
Liz?
I'll have a few.
Yeah.
With bathrooms, okay, for the folks who are there?
So yeah, there are existing bathrooms over past the Park and Rec office.
No, it's by the open field, if you take the path.
Oh, the porta potties
Yeah.
over here.
It's a handicapped accessible porta potty, right in that field, and then there's also one over by the pavilion by the beach area.
So there are no bathrooms or porta potties involved in this plan at all? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see any in that. It's all outside of the wetland boundary?
Yeah, it does have the
All,
wetlands.
what's the closest to the wetland edge there?
We're about a couple feet to the edge here, so
Will look like there.
yeah. So there's a gravel path that crosses here, and as part of phase 1, we created a rain garden to collect the runoff from the parking lot. And so that now discharges and goes underneath an existing culvert here. So phase 1, this wasn't delineated as wetlands, but I think we've kind of helped extend that line. But it's existing, so we're not going any further than what exists today. We're staying within that limit. It's like 5 feet or so, this closest point. And then this goes further away.
You're expecting that the fence and the.
Yeah, it's fine, so the way
all
that, yeah,
any
so
potential damage.
everything kind of pitches this way, and then there's a little bit that pitches here. The amount of area we're disturbing in total is about 30,000 square feet, and most of that is up in this section here. So this small area that's tributary to that closed section, there isn't much, so we don't expect any issues with the silt fence and the barrier together. If it was just a silt sock without silt fence, I'd be a little more leery on that, but that's why we wanted to do both.
I appreciate you doing both.
For that.
I did one the other day and it was working very well on a different side.
Yeah,
Down there.
yeah. I mean, sometimes if it's minimal, we'll just do a silt sock or straw water, but here we wanted to make sure, being a little close, to have both the silt fence and the sock.
You mentioned both, we would have asked for both.
Yeah.
For this particular project.
Yes.
Just a curious question,
Yeah.
gravel path is not considered accessible? Is that, or is considered accessible?
This one, is it this one now?
The one that you're putting in? you
Yes.
mentioned,
Yep.
And it's still okay as gravel?
Yes. Yep. So it's a stable surface.
You can get wheels over it?
Yeah.
Easy enough? Okay, didn't know.
Yep.
Just personal curiosity. Okay, that was all my questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
Anthony.
All right, good. With that, I'll close this portion of the hearing. I open up to anybody in the public. It doesn't look like there is, but if any questions, feel free to ask them now. But if you do so, please state your name and address first. Second time? Third and final time.
I don't think you need to do that here anymore. You said last week.
Well,
It doesn't matter.
so with that, I'll go ahead and close the hearing. And I'll Nick, did you have anything further?
No, I was gonna suggest native planting, but that's all taken care of already, so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, so with that, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve this plan with our normal conditions and special conditions and so on.
Okay.
I'll second. Boilerplate ones.
Okay, so, Richard Michael, good, thank you. So now you've got to go ahead and call the roll, and we're going to ask for the votes for the rest of the commission.
Okay, so you motioned, you seconded.
No other way, Michael,
Mike second.
Mike did, okay. Mike, sorry.
Alright, Chuck?
I vote aye.
And Liz?
Aye.
Alright, so that's 4 ayes to 0 noes. Motion passes.
All right. Thank you. I'm sorry, what was your first name again?
Anthony.
Anthony, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Is that work going to be done this year?
Yes, we expected to do it this season. Yes.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
All right, good. Moving on to our next Haley Ward
Can you,
person.
before you read that, since we only have 4 members, it's the same 4 members of the previous?
Correct, yeah, and actually, before I even open, I wanted to ask you a question. Are you going to be coming forth with the same plans that were rejected last time?
So I would ask that we don't open the meeting until we have a 5th member.
Super, okay, no, fair enough, but yeah, I need you to answer my question. Is it going to be the same plans as last time?
Other than some small modifications with regards to what I'm going to present to the board, with regards to what you had requested when we were on the property about additional plantings, and then making sure that the wood on the side of the coop was taller such that it would retain the water.
Okay.
But other than that,
On the
the
coop,
coop, the location of the coop would be where we had presented it last time, and then the garage wouldn't change, because the garage position really is kind of locked into where it needs to be.
Okay, so you don't open it anywhere because you.
Because we have the same 4 members as last time, it just
Okay.
doesn't make sense.
Go ahead.
Let me think of how to word my thoughts on that, and you guys can go.
No, I'm done. We're not going to open it anyway. So it might be helpful if you just held your thoughts till the next meeting, or do you feel compelled to? Because it's not open anyway, so.
Well, I think we should do something about that chicken coop that's there. It should not be there if it was a new thing.
No, but
Regardless of whether they have an application in, if somebody just came across and saw this, we should be doing something as the commission. We would do it elsewhere. And I guess there was a technicality in the reading of the vote.
I don't disagree with you.
Well, we have a filing into the commission that includes the coop.
Right, so we have to,
And so the issue is that there's 4 members, and we would like a 5th member before we open the hearing. I don't want to have to present tonight and then have the 5th member
Correct.
listen to it. I'd rather have the fifth member here, which I know we're trying to get Jeffrey to come attend the meeting, so we have a fifth member.
Yep.
It's just, we've had an issue for the last 2 months now having a fifth member.
Understood. I think the way, Rich, I appreciate your thought, but I think what I'd rather do is have that discussion when we actually open the meeting. I appreciate your thought, though. That sound all right to you?
Well, again, we just need a fifth member.
Correct, okay.
I'm not quite saying it's all right with me, I'm just accepting your
Okay.
decision as
Oh,
chair.
you-
Because if this could go on and on and on and on, and those 30 chickens just stay there pooping away.
Understood.
No,
I think
If I could just, Mr. Chairman,
shoot.
Yes, sir.
the client does not want to drag this out any longer than it already has been dragged out, to be honest with you, okay? Because
I wasn't expecting, it was a hypothetical. sir.
he wants to get his garage in this year before the weather changes,
Yeah, fair
okay?
enough.
So, and he's already wanted, he wanted his garage to be already under construction. So this is already delayed what he's been trying to get done.
Coop is delaying.
Correct. And so, I think both parties here want to get to a point that that coop gets moved. Where it gets moved to, well, that needs to be decided upon.
Can you repeat your name again? I'm not
Wesley
sure.
Fliss.
Excuse me?
Wesley
Wesley?
Fliss, F-L-I-S.
Just like it sounds.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we got it on the record. I don't
no
know the
problem.
introduction.
And so we don't want to kick this down the road any more than
Sure.
it's already been.
Mhm.
And if it gets continued, the applicant has to take an alternative route, which will probably have to go to DEP. Right, that's his only other option is to go
Oh,
to.
he can appeal the DEP if it is
Right.
rejected,
Yeah,
without question.
absolutely.
Absolutely, they're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's his only other recourse to get something done on here. And so that's why when we had the last meeting, there was a vote for 2-2. We
Yeah.
asked the commission to continue it, which we come to find out, because you
That's
already
a
took the vote
rejection.
2-2, it's a rejection. And so we had to repost it
Right.
with the intent to have a fifth member, to see if a fifth member would, if it's a 2-3 vote or a 3-2 vote, at least we know where the vote's going, and then we have a clear direction what needs to be done.
As a commissioner, I'm frustrated we're voting on the same thing, no offense to you, because of the technicality of what was first submitted versus what we ended up voting on was not the original number, so because of the number, you might be able to explain it better, I understand the city clerk explained.
Yeah, no, but basically, the city clerk stated to me that if they're coming forward with the same plan that was rejected, they can't do that. That's what I was told. They have to come back with a different plan. They came back.
Oh, no, I should give you a kind of different story, actually.
That's why I understood it. They can't come back with the same plan that was already rejected.
Correct.
It was 2-2 or 3-2. It was still.
That's correct, but the one that was, correct me if I'm wrong, would you, and this was the first one had a certain DEP number. Then they modified it based on comments. We voted on that modification, but that modification was not officially the original number or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So
It was something weird like that. I gave you a chance to come back and ask us the same plan that was voted
The
on,
number-
waiting for
correct.
the next
The number
member,
was
which
issued.
is normally not the proper thing because it would.
The DP numbers, right, so, and that's, even when Mark was still the acting agent, he reached out to DEP.
Mm-hmm.
And DEP said, no, they're good as long as the plan that they initially issued their number on was different than the plan that's going on now.
Okay.
And so,
Even though we voted on, so next time, let's not get fooled by, or not fooled by you guys, but fooled by the system and vote on something that we then have to re-vote on.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we don't get into that.
and to be honest with you, it is when we were here and I talked to Mark about this, we were trying to get a straw poll vote out of you that the vote wasn't official. We don't think the vote was official, but for us to go through that process,
Oh, to challenge whether it's an official vote?
correct, it's a pain in the, it would have to go to, legality of it would be more cumbersome than coming back in front of you with the most up-to-date plan, asking for 5 members.
My understanding is that it was not actually the right vote, that we were voting on not what it should have been, otherwise we wouldn't be re-voting it. So there's a technicality in there that you guys were able to take advantage of, which I just want to avoid in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I accept what it is, and that you're gonna get to do that, which basically it's, you know, I mean, how long are we gonna wait? What if Jeff doesn't come next time?
Well, then that's, and honestly, like I said, my client doesn't want to wait too much longer. Because I think he's more frustrated than you guys are, to be honest with you. Because he wants to get going on the garage.
Yeah, and then the garage isn't the issue.
Correct.
Yeah, we had another visit out there yesterday. Were you aware of that?
I was not aware of that,
Yeah,
no.
no, he was very cordial.
Yeah.
It was very well constructed. I did hear a new piece of information, and it might have been my mistake, but now there is the addition of a generator that's going into that same area. which I don't think was on the plan,
It isn't on the plan, no.
Yeah,
and then should it be?
Is that permanent generator?
Permanent,
Yeah.
yeah, permanent.
Propane.
Gen- It's propane, but it's still, you know, you still got a gasoline engine with oil and that stuff, so.
Which we could still add to
I
the,
know.
when the hearing is open, we can submit an updated plan with that.
It's kind of a long conversation without opening the meeting, huh?
First time I've heard of the generator, so.
Yeah, well,
yeah, us too.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it was Mike and myself and Nick
Yeah.
were there.
Okay.
And we had a nice conversation with the
Yeah.
owner. And great
Yeah.
property. It's
Yeah.
just an unfortunate spot for the chickens that are within, in my opinion, within the resource area itself, not even within the buffer area. Below there.
Well, again, that's, now we're
It's
starting,
getting
yeah,
further.
getting a little bit too deeply here, but,
That's
so DP file number has not been issued. What is, do you,
I'm not sure, so when I talked to Mark, they weren't sure if they were issuing a new file number. There was some confusion of what they're gonna do with that.
so who's they, DEP?
DEP,
So,
yeah.
so it's in their hands now?
It's on their hands,
Okay.
yes, yeah. Because I know they said we didn't need to submit a new filing fee, but they weren't sure what they were gonna do with the DEP number, so I'm not sure if that's something that.
Yeah,
All right.
I talked to
new filing fee,
Mill.
but a recycle number, perfect.
Well, see, I don't see, and that's where the confusion came, even with Mark was dealing with them, because we thought there should have been a decision issued under the old number, and then a new number issued,
Okay.
but
No, all right.
there's some confusion there. So
Okay,
I don't know
yeah.
if you could reach out to, I know,
I've waited. I was reaching out to Mia yesterday and today about that new DEP
Yeah.
number, and she was waiting to hear back from someone else. She hadn't heard from.
so I know, so
Yeah,
you mentioned, so Gary Delmain is the
yes, that's it.
gentleman from DEP that's additional a lot of the numbers recently for them. So I know they're missing one person out of maternity leave, so
Okay.
Yes, yeah,
so Gary's been hitting a lot of the file numbers.
yes, that's what it is.
And I think he only comes in, from what I understand, everybody in DEP comes in once a week and they work from home the rest of the
Oh, is that right?
day or something along.
I know he doesn't. He could be hard to get a hold of, but she didn't tell me why exactly.
So,
All right, well, best of, hopefully you'll have
So in
5
2
people here
weeks-
next time? 2 weeks, yeah.
the other question,
So it's easy, so it'll be the 28th, yeah.
is Pierce Street on the next meeting?
Yes.
28th, I think I saw.
Pierce Street, that 125
28th
Pierce
sounds
Street.
familiar, hold on.
There's no number to it, it's the subdivision?
Yeah.
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 If you can't go and I can't go, I'm actually okay with that, because I don't have to worry
Hold
about
on.
skipping my wife's
Yeah.
vacation.
Where am I? July
Oh,
28th.
June 20th.
June 28th.
You all busy?
No, I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good.
And you're gone?
I'm supposed to be on vacation with my wife, but if
But we're
I
gonna-
vote, I will.
We'll try to get a hybrid meeting.
Let me know, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm away too, actually, okay.
No.
That won't stop you guys though, right? You got somebody who cut.
Well, Anthony would be probably Anthony, that was just
That was just the
Oh,
area.
it's just today.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, I think we like him way better.
I think so. I was just had him on the back end of the
All right.
He's a Leominster guy, so I don't blame you.
All right, Wellesley, thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you guys.
Appreciate it. Good night.
Thank you, Wesley.
All right. So moving on, so no action on that one. Check and see if we have to, do we need to formally continue that?
I think we would have,
We
from
didn't
what I've.
open it though.
Oh, we talked.
We didn't open it, yes,
Sorry,
that's right,
good point.
okay, so
Thank you.
then there's.
Good point.
It never opened.
So yeah, just move that to the agenda.
Never happened.
Yeah.
And please, keep up on it and let us know whether
Yeah.
it gets off or there's not a quorum so that I can do my life plans
Right.
accordingly. But as you all know, I will not miss a vote on that.
Yeah, no, I know. So again, Nick, so as soon as you get the agenda, please send it out, and at the same time, ask who's gonna be at the meeting, so we'll know, hopefully know a couple days in advance whether we can make a quorum or not.
Right.
All right,
Yeah, but yeah, you at least know whether it made the agenda when it gets published.
right.
I did send the agenda out on Friday, did you?
I got that, but I hate the Gmail interface, so I might have lost it.
Oh, okay.
So that might have been my fault.
I just wanna make sure I had the right address.
And, all right, so anyway, moving on, this gentleman's here. So pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing for a request to amend an order of conditions for the construction of a duplex residential building. Address 1284 Central Street, map 566, parcel 1-1, DP file number 199-1140. Well, I assume you're here to represent the project. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. For the record, Chris Anderson with Handicapped Engineering.
Yep.
Here I have on the Whitney companies for the amendment to an existing order of conditions. Just so you have that, the advertisement fee and the abutters notification.
Thank you.
So this was back before the commission, back in the fall timeframe.
This one's associated with Leggett Hill?
Yes.
Okay.
Same exact development.
Okay.
So this was back before the commission several months ago. I was granted the order of conditions and the file number 199-1140 for the property at 1284 Central Street, which is pretty much highlighted in this corner of the world here. Since that time, the applicant has decided to use a different configuration of a building and to realign the driveway in this area. So originally the driveway was going to go out to Leggett Hill, but it was becoming too cumbersome.
So Leggett Hill's up there,
So we
okay.
have Leggett Hill right
Got it,
here.
all right, I know where I am, all right.
We got Route 12 right here.
Yep.
Originally, the plan, the duplex's driveway was going out to Leggett Hill. It was a long driveway. It was becoming cumbersome with the grading and all the other utilities in the area. And the applicant decided to go with a different footprint for a building. As such, we updated the proposed layout of the building to be a little bit closer to the wetland by about 10 feet.
Moving the building itself?
Moving the building itself closer by 10 feet, and then redirecting the driveway out to Central Street. Primarily and only just to address some of the grading concerns and everything like that they start to encounter during construction. One of the benefits of this project is, and this amendment, is that we're actually reducing the net impervious area on the property by approximately 700 or 690 square feet. The building gets a little bit bigger, but we're removing a significant amount of the pavement that's on the property. So it's going to ultimately lend itself to a little better condition stormwater-wise going to the wetland area. So that's primarily the major changes. We're still maintaining the small settling area in the lower portion of the site that pretty much captures all the runoff before it hits the wetland that's located off locus. We're still all these original utility connections are being maintained. Sewer will go out to Central Street via a common sewer line, and water will ultimately connect within Leggett Hill. Maintaining the same limit of erosion control, so we're not decreasing the limit of disturbance on the property. We're just requesting a modification to use a slightly different building and driveway configuration.
Yep.
That's the general gist of the project. If there's any questions?
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. So with moving the driveway, well, you mentioned reducing the amount of impervious surface, which we always appreciate. Is part of that, does that mean that the driveway itself area is going to be smaller?
Yes.
Okay.
So the original driveway is about 750 square feet, or sorry, it's reducing by about 750 square feet.
Okay.
So it's going down quite a bit.
Okay.
And then the building gets slightly larger, so there's a net increase and decrease here and
Okay.
there. But at the end of the day, you're about 690 square feet less.
All right. And were there any plantings involved here, or is it just going to be lawn?
It's just going to be lawn.
There's potential landscape, just
Yeah, your
foundation
generic
plants.
landscaping around houses, stuff like that. But no formal beefed up landscaping plan.
That's the only question I had. Michael?
No question. We were out there yesterday, and Mr. Whitney, we met with Jim, and done a wonderful job with the erosion controls. They're well in place. One question is, could some of the stockpiles be surrounded or cupped with some bottles or something to keep from erosion going down into the area?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll reach out to Jim.
There's three stockpiles there. You're just going to trickle down in, but they've done a wonderful job in there grading it.
Yep. And I'll reach out to Jim tomorrow and say, hey, put some additional erosion controls. The commission just wants to protect that area a little bit more. And
Chris, be specific with what Mike was saying. He loved what was there. I did too.
Yeah.
The fence and the
Yeah, no,
wall
we'll remain
looked
that.
great. They were installed well. He's just asking for these three
stockpiles.
piles.
Yeah, no,
Don't make
just
it an open suggestion to him.
no, I'll put temporary straw walls around the bottom of the
Actually,
stockpiles.
my concern, is that they are abutting where the erosion controls are for the wetlands. And any runoff is gonna go down in there, they'd have to paw that out, and that's something we wanna avoid. So just the back, I think, is really towards the wetlands, and the silt fence now is the area of concern, from my perspective.
Noted.
By the way, I wish I was retired so I can go to all these site visits.
That's fine.
Oh, it's good time.
It's great. It's great, it really is.
Liz, any questions?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
No, we're good.
Okay.
It's just, you know, I agree with what Mike wanted, just didn't want to make you have to go further.
Okay.
That's,
We did notice the grass might have needed to be reseeded. It's kind of looking a little
Yeah, it's
dry out there.
Yeah, it's an ongoing site. So,
Right.
Once everything's said and done, there'll probably be one more round of overseeding. And then as the houses get kicked over to the homeowners, they're gonna start upkeeping.
Are they hydro seeded or just regular, just grass?
Hydro seeding most likely for the disturbed areas, so anything that doesn't have grass yet. I believe the only houses that are up are this house and this one.
correct.
This one I believe is closing shortly, and this one's going up pretty quickly too. So those should be stabilized by the time they get sold, but at the end of the day, additional seating will most likely be placed there just to beef it up.
Okay, they're still working and driving through a lot of that.
Yeah, right. It's still an active construction site, but
Sure,
it's
yeah.
noted that it needs to
Okay.
be fixed prior to going too far down the road.
Oh, geez, phone transaction, there you go. Where'd it go?
You got another one for it if you need it.
Well, oh, fine, oh, well, went far, huh? Thank you. All right, good, thank you. So if no other questions, I'll close this portion of the hearing. Nobody here from the public, so I'm not gonna open that portion. So with that, I'll entertain a motion on this amended order of conditions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Liz.
All right. Chuck?
Actually, once you go to, you typically do the chair.
Chairman's last, okay.
Aye,
Rich votes aye.
Rich Miller.
And I vote aye.
And Chuck Raymond votes aye. So that's passes 4-0. Motion passes.
Unanimous, good job.
Wonderful.
All right,
Thank you, Chris. See you again.
Yep. I'm back before you guys shortly, so.
Tonight or next time?
Please.
Okay, all right, good.
See you then.
All right, take care. All right. Moving on to continued hearings. Pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, Leominster Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on a notice of intent regarding the construction of a garage with associated driveway and site grading. 27 Elm Street, mapping parcels 121-5, no DEP file number has been issued. Can you tell us about that, Nick?
So same with 689, what she said, I'm still waiting to hear back from Mia on that, and she's still waiting to hear back from Gary, so.
Okay.
Should get both those at about the same time. It's a floating dock.
What this says garage and driveway. So it's about the same one?
On Elm Street.
That is a mistake on my part. It should be the construction of a dock. I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
It might have gotten cut and pasted. But 27 Elm Street is for the construction of a dock. That is my bad.
Okay.
Does anyone remember that? It's been an ongoing thing apparently for a little while now, but
The dock?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
It's on the
familiar.
agenda as long as you've known it.
I think since before.
Yeah,
It's been on here since we joined,
Lincoln,
Yeah.
Lincoln administration.
and nothing's ever come up on it.
Yeah.
It's just holding a spot on the paper.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And I've asked Mia about it as well, if she would just look into the fact of, it's not a great pond, it isn't covered under chapter 91. The city should probably have a harbor master to make those types of decisions.
Yep.
That's what most cities do, so I
And that
think.
can be bestowed on the
And-
fire chief for
It's usually the fire chief or the police chief.
Yeah.
You know, if, I don't think I could do it because I'm not a city employee, but I would volunteer just to kind of handle this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, so.
Yeah.
At the time, if that's a possibility, I'll be happy to do it, but.
So if you could just correct the item on the agenda for next meeting,
yes.
make sure it reads correctly.
Absolutely. Another concern we had, the plans that he included in the NOI were all hand-drawn, and they were a little hard to interpret.
Yeah.
It seemed to say that he was gonna fill in the area under the dock, but then also said that it was a floating dock. And I was out there today, he has the new dock on his property, he doesn't have it in the water, and it does appear to be a floating dock, so.
So it's got the round
It's
rings to
like-
go over the pole?
Yes,
Around the pole?
yeah, and like big
Oh.
tanks on it, like to float on, but.
It's probably,
Like I said, when I was like-
attaches to the shore is what he's talking about, a little bit of excavation.
Well, when I was on the Concom Falmouth, we had floating docks all the time, or these things, at least according to the plans you were showing me, it's got rings around the poles,
Yeah.
and it goes up and down with the tides.
Mhm.
There's no tide in this pond, so it must be with whatever changes in water level he wants, or he's expecting, but. seemed kind of odd to me.
Sometimes they leave them in the winter so they float up on top of the ice.
That's true. Yeah, all right. Anyway, so that's continued again.
So, yeah.
Hopefully we have a DP now.
I also spoke to Stephen Trench. He's the one that is living at that property, and he said that he's waiting to hear back from DEP. They have recommendations that they want to change, so there's just a lot up in the air with it. Right
So in the
now.
meantime, the dog is just sitting on in the yard or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope they're enjoying it in the yard.
Yeah.
All right. All right, moving on then. Thank you. Appreciate that. Moving on to regular meeting. No new business.
Can I ask one more question about that?
Yeah, sure.
Is the existing wooden dock still there, or are
They had like.
We don't want to see somebody get hurt on that.
So he's in New Hampshire. He ended up calling me back right before I left the property.
Yep.
But I was talking to his sister-in-law, and she was showing me around. She didn't really know, but it looked like old pallets were laid where there used to be a dock, but there's no old dock in the water right now.
Okay.
But she was showing me the area that would go down to it, but there's nothing there now.
All right. You'll get back. So, all set?
Thank you.
All set. Yeah, no worries. So no new business, no old business. Certificate of compliance, 90 Lake Shore Drive. That's not you, is it?
No.
Okay, 90 Lake Shore Drive, DP file number 199-1107. What can you tell us about that?
Not much, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
I don't know it's acceptable.
I do not know.
Okay, so if you can look into that, then we can get back to us.
Yeah.
So I know the area pretty well.
So obviously the work is now there. They want to
Yeah,
close
it's the house that has a new septic system, and Angela was concerned with the seating and ground coverage.
SEED, okay.
Yes, like ground coverage. So suggestion was made for them to put down wood chips or something that would contain, it's a flat area, was disturbed. There are infamous Leominster chickens on there, and there's just no way to get any planting in there because, they're gonna be scratched away. So some sort of ground, a mulch-like product has been put down.
Okay.
But as soon as it's down, it's moved. But they've done a nice job. They're gonna come before us because that house is gonna be raised and they're gonna put in,
Oh, is that right?
put in a new home. So.
Raised as in taken out or more raised up?
No,
Okay.
Raised as in
With a Z,
raised.
with a Z.
Z,
Okay.
Z.
So if you, Nick, if you look into that for the next hearing, so we can do something with it?
I can take it down in there.
All right, thank you. I'll be in contact with you for that.
All right, moving on, extension permits. 96 Exchange Street, Herons Lane 2. This one again, DP file number 199-1061, the extended expiration date of, now it's next month. Do you know anything about this one yet?
No, I do not.
All right, if you could look into that,
Yes.
Maybe get in touch with Angela, get the backstory on it.
Yes.
Would be helpful. All right, communications, none. Meeting minutes, so along these lines, meeting minutes, review and approve last meeting minutes. One of the things that Angela was, we were starting to clear these out there the last few months. And obviously with her change of position, that has halted. But she was also in the process of trying to hire a part-time intern to help her go to put the recordings on paper so we have something to read and vote on.
Sure.
So she was doing it through the mayor's office. So if you can look into that, and look into the part-time intern and have this intern help us clear out the meeting minutes.
Okay.
She would probably hear anywhere from like 2 to 5 sets of minutes per meeting that we would have read beforehand and voted on.
Well, also, something needs, if I may, John,
Yeah.
something needs to improve the system because even while we're trying to catch up, we have not been keeping up with them.
Right.
I haven't seen minutes in a long time.
No, yeah, right. That's what I said. It fell to the wayside when she.
In her last months.
Yeah, in the last few months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for this, there was a while that we were starting to clear some of them out,
Yes, we were.
and that has ground to we hit a brick wall now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So ask the mayor's office about the part-time intern, and hopefully that person can start. And whether it's this person or you going through the minutes, or transcribing. That's a word I couldn't think of.
Thank you.
Transcribing.
Right.
So if you at least transcribe and then get them to us so we can vote on whether it's through you or the intern. We need to clear these minutes out. Okay. Any questions?
Could you maybe go into that? I don't know anything about meeting minutes or anything.
Oh, well,
Just the recording.
Yeah, and then
Just transcribing.
That's literally just transcribed on paper.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, they hire a transcription service.
Right.
Who does,
They have that.
Service
Yeah.
that does.
That place,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there was a cleansing that was done. after
Right.
that.
And then we would go through.
Yeah, and Angela was hoping to use that intern to do a lot of that grunt work.
Otherwise, Angela or I would be the one going through and just physically typing out the.
No,
Oh, that would be too much.
yeah, that's fine, that'd be way too much. No, I think I misrepresented the situation.
Okay.
I didn't know there's actual transcription service.
Yes.
Yes,
City
that's
Hall.
what I'm.
Oh, so then yeah, that's right, then we've got to go through them. The intern would file and make sure that they're filed correctly, electronically or otherwise. But then we got to go through them ourselves as the commission members, because we're the ones that were recorded, and make sure that what we said is actually what's on
Yeah,
there.
Sign off that it's
contextually, we're accurate,
Yeah,
that's.
okay.
No.
Alright, I will talk, yeah.
Okay.
Contact the mayor's office.
Good, that'd be great. All right, moving on. Enforcement, 803 Pleasant Street. Correspondence from current owner's attorney, past cease and desist order. You know that one? Nothing? Okay, all right.
That has gone to our attorney, correct? Yes, city council. I mean, the city councilor.
Has it? Okay,
Yeah.
it doesn't say it here, okay. All right. So you have to speak to the city council, I'm not gonna say.
Got it.
All right, next one, 1775 Lock Drive, work in 200-foot riverfront area, parcels 323-1 and 323-13, cease and desist order. Now that was one,
That Mark had shown me around there
Yeah.
and just driven by there, he, explained that they weren't supposed to be doing work back there, they cleared a bunch of trees. And
Right.
he had since filed the cease and desist. I haven't had time to follow up on it. I don't know if they've continued to cease and desist or if they're.
so you went down there with Mark?
We drove by, we didn't go into the back, but he
Yeah,
was
the
showing me.
situation was a new building, they had to bring trucks in to repair them or fix them, I forget what they were doing in there, but they would still didn't work in the building, so they couldn't get the trucks in there. So they were leaving them out back and they cleared a bunch of area to put the trucks in. They said it was gonna be temporary, that once they were able to get all the trucks inside, we told them what we're looking for. And that was it, that's the last I knew of what had happened down there since our site walk.
Right.
So we wanna try to get that, because it's within the riverfront area and the whole bit. So we want to try to get the area fixed as best we can and to make sure they're not still using it. Rich?
Yeah, I thought that the cease and desist order was a mistake in this case.
Oh, really?
The reason
Yeah, I don't recall season to this either.
we hadn't ordered that. He did
Yeah.
that on his own.
Who's
And
he?
Mark.
Oh, Mark.
And I wrote and objected to it
Okay.
in the sense that we were there as a group. You were
Right.
there, you were
Yeah.
there, and I was there. Jeff might
And we
have
made
been
suggestions.
And we made suggestions, and we had worked together and come up with something, and then all of a sudden they get sent out this cease and desist. Which we wanted it stopped, but we didn't necessarily have to go through that legal
We
authority.
didn't think there was a need for season to this.
No, I thought, unless they are doing anything about
Something
it.
else, right?
And there was some small stuff, we'd ask to remove some concrete blocks out. That's the main example I use as to if we were doing a cease and desist order, and if they didn't stop, we would do one. But supposedly they're gonna stop and, had a plan for compliance. I don't see how we let other things occur when we work on this, and this is a
Yeah,
prime
one of
example
the-
to me of us being
One of the
contradictory.
suggestions was to take the regrind asphalt out of the area.
Right.
So if we gave them a cease and desist, they probably stopped taking the regrind asphalt out of it.
Oh, stop doing stuff. Hopefully they didn't think it was to improve. So I asked Mark for a copy and didn't get one, so I could see if it
Yeah.
contradicted what we discussed with them and so on. I'm surprised he didn't bring you in on that, Chuck.
Yeah, no, I never heard anything else.
Should've brought it
So if you could check with Mark on the season to this, see if we can get that, can we just get that lifted?
Let's read it first.
Okay.
We might like it.
Yeah. And you might also speak to the applicant actually the applicant is the facility owner, isn't he? I forget his
I
name.
believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't forget the developer, do you remember his name?
I know, yeah.
That's okay.
What have they done? Yeah, what have they done since our?
Yeah, what has happened since we went on the sidewalk out there? Which was what, last fall?
He's well known and local.
Yeah,
That was
Jimmy Zaris,
thank you,
Right, okay.
thank you.
well known.
James is ours.
So was Max.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you look into that, the cease and desist, and talk to Mr. Azaris about what he's done.
Then we might follow
Or
up.
we could take a ride down there and see what they've done.
Yeah, I don't know too far from there
Oh, it's all
myself.
nice.
Yeah. All right, anything else with that one? I think we're all set, okay.
Thank you.
North Street, parcels 297-27 and 297-28, Hughes Group Corporation. Tree removal within 200 feet of wetlands, cease and desist order. So yeah, I've been out to the site. There were four neighbors that were here at the last meeting. And I went out there, I think the following week, anybody else go out there?
Yeah, I did not get
Yeah.
there yet.
Yeah, and it was, they were telling me that the guy stopped cutting trees because he was worried that his equipment was gonna get stuck in the wetlands. So thank God for the wetlands, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Laughing on TV.
yeah. The guy had equipment, he was, you know, the
That's a good point.
guy with the tree cutting equipment that was hired by the property owner. Or the person doing.
Again, a company that knows better than to go into an area that is wet, that is that wet,
Yeah.
and brings equipment in and is worried.
So do you know anything about this one yet?
Other than what I saw on the video meeting,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any equipment in there anymore.
There isn't.
I think they have
There's a
stopped.
temporary plastic shed, but it's just on
Yeah.
blocks that can be picked up and moved, gotten rid of. But you need to get in touch with the site owner, property owner, see if they have a consultant, because this isn't just stop what you're doing. They need to fix this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And can you please find out quickly, there was a lot of public participation on that one, so we should be very proactive in response to
Been
that.
following up with them.
To follow up on the case, which
Oh,
would
yeah.
include the stakeholders.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have been doing a wetland delineation and everything
Oh,
else.
yeah, everything, yeah. Yeah, with site plans, what are you doing? You're gonna be, nice, they're gonna build a house in the whole business, and you need to see, what are your plans here? What do you plan, not only for developing the property, but also to fix what you've done?
Yeah.
So. So yeah, so the names of the 4 people that were here last time should be in the file someplace.
Okay. I think I did see that file now.
3 residences.
All right, good, yeah, I'd like to see something done with that one, we're going to get on. All right, emergency certifications, none. Budget, nothing under budget.
Question?
Go.
Thank you, sorry to keep on this. I've asked a couple times, when Angela was here, I'd love to see what the budget is. We have this on the agenda, and none of us know what the
That's a good
budget
point,
is.
yeah.
So, keep it on the agenda. I want a copy of the budget, please.
All right, I am working on my access to the budget, so, yes.
Fair enough. I keep asking.
I've been able to, buy a couple, or, get a couple checks settled, things like that, but I still cannot get into the system.
No, wasn't expecting you to
check
have it
the
tonight,
numbers and all that,
but,
but as soon as I can, I will open that up to you guys for sure.
Yeah, that's a good question, thank you, Reg. All right, next meeting, June 28th, 2022. The filing deadline was last Friday at noon. So hopefully that agenda will be all set sometime soon.
Yes.
So anything that was continued will be on there, even if it doesn't have a number, it's gonna stay officially on the agenda, and we won't know whether anybody pulls it back or not.
Right. Right.
Say that?
Is that just a statement, or
Yeah.
is there a question there?
Just a statement.
Okay.
No, you know what I'm referring to.
Okay. Okay.
That's it.
Okay, good. All right, so with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Thank you, Liz, is there a second?
I will second it.
Thank you, Michael.
I will vote yes.
All right, Rich votes aye,
And I vote aye.
and Chuck votes aye. Motion passes 4-0.
Wow.